back to note values and the name of notes. This is extremely important. Extremely important that you memorise this table. Probably not so much the actual names, particularly the names down here. These are the more commonly used names. But it's extremely important that you relate the actual note with the value of the note. So we'll run through this now again. We have the note here, the semibreve. The semibreve, it's also called a whole note, and semibreve's the note that's the name that's used more frequently. And it holds for 4 beats. So the note plays and holds for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it releases. A minim, half note, 2 beats. So it plays for 1, 2, then let go. Crotchet, coloured in with a stem. Crotchet, quarter note, 1 beat. So it's just 1, 1, 1. Quaver, like a crotchet with a little tail. 8th note, it's worth half a beat. Semiquaver, you can see we just add a tail to it. 16th note, it's worth a quarter of 1 beat. So it takes 4 of these to add up to 1 crotchet, which is worth 1 beat. So if you look right down the bottom here, 4 of them, normally join their tails together, equals 1 beat. So 4 semiquavers equals 1. The quaver, with half of 1, so it's like a crotchet with a little tail. You need 2 of those, we just join the tails. 2 quavers equals 1 beat, which is the same as the crotchet. The crotchet, we would need 2 crotchets, 2 times 1, to give the minim. The minim, we would need 2 minims, side by side, 2 beats each, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So 2 minims equal the semibreve. 2 crotchets equals 1 minim. 2 quavers equals a crotchet. 2 semiquavers equals a quaver. And yes, it does get down further down to even smaller notes. Every time we have a smaller note, which would be the next one down on the scale, we'll just add an extra tail. So we have 3 tails or 4 tails. You don't see them very often. Semibreve, 4, minim, 2, crotchet, 1, quaver, half. They're the most important ones. And of course, the one that doesn't fit evenly into here is the minim with a dot beside it, which we've discussed in previous tutorials. The minim with a dot, it's called a dotted minim, and it receives 3 counts. So it's like having 3 of these, 3 ones, or 2, and the dot with the extra crotchet. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So please go over this little chart, little guide here, and go over and over those note values and what they're called, because it's really important, as you saw in the last tutorial that we did, where the notes and bars work in with a time signature, and you can see the different notes, bar lines, and how the different notes fit into each bar, and of course the rests that we also talked about. One's hanging from the line, one's sitting on a line, and of course the little zigzag one, the crotchet rest, with 1 beat. But the note table here is extremely important to go over, so you know exactly what the notes look like for when you're writing them, and then of course the values of each of the notes. Okay, let's apply everything that we've learned so far in all of the tutorials and apply it to this beautiful piece of music by Australian composer Bruce Rowland. So you can look at the beginning. So let's start there. Treble clef, bass clef, the joint at the front with the line and the brace. So that means that both of these lines, because they are joined with the brace and the lines going all the way through, they're played at the same time. So not too hard to guess that this is piano music. The next part that comes in from the treble and bass is, of course, the time signature, which you can see there is 4/4. We have the 5 lines, of course, for the bass and 5 for the treble. This being on piano, of course, the top line here, treble clef, is played with the right hand. Bass clef, of course, is played with the left hand. We have the lines coming down through the music, bar lines. You can see them. They divide the music into, little piece there, a bar of music. These little lines here that I've drawn in at some point in time, the thicker line and the thin line with the little dots. And you can see this one here is around the other way. So it's like a set of brackets coming in either side of the music. That is the repeat sign. So you would play through, see this one, and you go right back to either the beginning or the repeat sign that's the opposite, like I've ruled in here to show you that the dot's around the other way. So you play through and repeat, play those 2 again. So 1, 2, 2 bars actually becomes 1, 2, 3, 4 bars long. That's the introduction. The song actually then starts here. Here, the little squiggly sign, Quadrant Rest, we've done. We have a note here, minim, worth 2 counts. You can see here we've got our little quaver. There's 3 notes playing at the same time there. You can see the stem and how 3 notes are connected to that stem. And it's got a little tail. So that is a quaver worth half a beat. We've then got another 2 quavers because their tails are joined, and then we've got a group of 4. Group of 4 quavers, group another 4 quavers. Remember, 2 quavers equals 1 beat. So you can see here that that would be beat 1, beat 2, 2 of them. Beat 3, 2 joined together. Beat 4, the other 2 joined together. Another little single quaver down here in the left hand. And so on. Here we've got a circle. No stem. That's a semibreve worth 4 counts. It's got the little line on it. So of course from your note names and where notes are, that note is middle C. Down here in the left, the note sitting under the bottom line. Bottom line's G. One below G, of course, in the alphabet going backwards, would be F. Little double line through. There's lower C. There's the C in the bass in the left, or cows eat grass, a C. That's another C. Circle with a stem through, Quadrant Rest. And of course down the bottom here, we have 3 notes playing together, which would sound like this. 3 notes playing with, not coloured in, with stem, with dots. Dotted minim. So that one would be worth 3 counts. You can see the coloured in notes here with a stem, crotchet, worth 1. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, then on to the next bar of music on the next page. Here we've got a Quadrant Rest, so counting would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So you can see how important the note values relate to the song and how it all then fits together. And everything we've done so far in the tutorials is all there literally in black and white. One thing that I always teach my students when they're here in the studio is music, and the best way I've never found in my life to describe music is simply dots on lines on paper. That's all it is. Dots on lines on paper. Now, when you open a book, a normal reading book, it's letters from the alphabet arranged into words, black text from letters on paper. And it's the same here. Once you understand the music and the notes, where the notes are on the stave, the 5 lines, music suddenly becomes extremely easy. It's understanding the notes, the note values that we've just gone through again, and the whole lot then comes together. So music analysis is kind of what we've just been doing here in this tutorial. It's just going over a single piece of music, showing you where the notes are sitting. You can see here, there's another low C, the bottom line in bass clef. Remember? Good boys deserve fruit always. G, G, B, D, F, A. There's the bottom line, that's a G. Steps down to F. C, F, C, F, C, boom, 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 boom. And once you understand where the notes are and the reading of music, it can then progress through to all sorts of things that we will be doing and starting in the next few tutorials. We'll be understanding chords, harmonies, and from there, we then move into songwriting, which will be a great tutorial to start into. So go back over all of the tutorials so far, the note values, note names, and particularly all of the musical theory bits that go together, like bar lines, a bar of music, time signatures, which was in the last tutorial, about how many beats are in each bar and how it all comes together to give you this here.